One of the things that my teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, said to me was, think for the whole. Speak for the whole. Don't just think for those who are Muslims. Don't just think for those who are nationalists. Don't just think for those who are civil writers. Think for the whole. No matter who they are, no matter what they are, no matter where they are, think for them. Stand for them. Work for them. Live for them. And when you can't live anymore, die in behalf of your people. The Bible said there's a lion asleep in Judah. Who's going to wake him? So those of us that are in the lodge or in the Masonic order, the lion's paw is the only thing that could raise the master architect from death. We are the lions of civilization. That is memorialized in the desert of Egypt with the head of a black man on the body of a lion called Abu el-Haul, the father of everything. But the face of the lion is the face of a black human being. Napoleon was so upset with that nose that only we Africans, you know, of a certain type have that kind of nose. That's telling you something about who we are. The rest of the black family is awaiting our rise. So when we went to Mecca, we didn't go there to bow to another man's way of civilization. Because before they were, we are. Islam is not a religion that came with Prophet Muhammad 1400 years ago. The latest expression of it came 1400 years ago. It didn't even have a name prior to 1400 years ago. Yes, sir. Because it was and it is the nature of God and the nature in which He created the human being. You didn't have what they call religion. You exercised the nature of your being. And the nature of your being is to be upright. Not to be a thief, a liar. You were under thieves and liars for over 400 years. And they made us into themselves. So when you look at black people, you're looking at a creature. Yes, sir. Come on. Made in America. Right. Made devils.
feel a sense of anger where we are in the United States of America, where we have not had direct conversations about a lot of the root causes of the inequities and the pain and the hurt manifested in economic disparities, manifested in health disparities, manifested in a criminal justice system that is indeed a form of new Jim Crow. And so we as a nation have not yet truly acknowledged and grappled with racism and white supremacy that has tainted this country's founding and continues to persist in those deep racial disparities and inequalities today. This is a very important hearing. It is historic. It is urgent.
Because that's what the enemy is. And he could not make you righteous because righteousness is not a part of his nature. And we have been under them so long that they have made us into themselves. So we are thieves today. We are liars today. We are murderers today. We are fornicators and adulterers today. We are freaks today. We are lesbians. We are homosexuals. We are transgender. We are queer. Whatever the white man is, that's what we are. Because he could only make us what he is.
A sense of anger where we are in the United States of America, where we have not had direct conversations about a lot of the root causes of the inequities and the pain and the hurt manifested in economic disparities, manifested in health disparities, manifested in a criminal justice system that is indeed a form of new Jim Crow. And so we as a nation have not yet truly acknowledged and grappled with racism and white supremacy that has tainted this country's founding and continues to persist in those deep racial disparities and inequalities today. This is a very important hearing. It is historic. It is urgent. I look at communities like mine, and you could literally see how communities were designed to be segregated, designed based upon enforcing institutional racism and inequities. We know that racialized violence and terrorism has persisted from Reconstruction well into the 1950s, as my friend Brian Stevenson's National Memorial for Peace and Justice shows. We've seen bombings of churches. We've seen massacres at places as recently as the Emmanuel AME Church just 4 years ago. The stain of slavery was not just inked in bloodshed, but in the overt state-sponsored policies that fueled white supremacy and racism and have disadvantaged African Americans economically for generations. Many of the bedrock policies, in fact, that ushered generations of Americans into the middle class were designed to exclude African Americans, from the GI Bill to Social Security, intentionally designed to exclude blacks, as was school segregation, redlining, neighborhoods like the one in which I live, which were by design walled off and disinvested in. And while these policies of the past, their damage and their reality has endured across generations and have created and led to so much of the racial wealth gaps in our country. Right now, we see cities like Boston, where the average white family has somewhere around $240,000 in wealth, and the average black family has about $8 in wealth.
So you can't say you want reparations and think it's money. What will a devil do with money? What will a white man's nigger do with money and no love for himself or his own people? And if reparations does not repair our broken mind, our corrupted souls, and bring us anew again, we can say we're engaged in reparation masturbation. I'm not trying to be vulgar, but our expressions are vulgar. If it only is for a few. We all have to be made anew. Not half made. Made anew. Our lives have to be transformed. So the reparation has to start where the original creature started. Well, wait a minute. Farrakhan is... Do I have to accept your religion? Accept your own religion. But most of us don't know what that is. Accept the nature of yourself, which is righteousness. And once we start practicing the doing of what is right, loving for your brother and your sister what you love for yourself, doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, then we'll always be these niggas struggling with concepts that we can't figure out. I have to speak straight words.